Hello, everyone. Carlos Toro here. I'm joined by Danny Gonzalez, who's going to be fighting Petros Ananyan October 16 at the Barclays Center as part of a Triller Fight Club card on Fight. Danny, thanks so much for coming in here. Do you prefer to be called Danny or Daniel?
Yeah, either one's fine. You can call me Danny.
Awesome. First of all, Danny, I love the sweatshirt that you got going on with the Puerto Rico flag. I very much
Yeah,
appreciate
yes.
it as a fellow Puerto Rican born and raised in the island.
Oh, awesome. What island?
And
What part of?
So I was born in Mayagüez and then was pretty much raised in Cabo Rojo and Añasco.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. My dad would have loved you. He's not far from there.
Yeah, no, I far from the metropolitan area of the island.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got this major event that you got coming on, 2-day event that Triller is putting on. Obviously, there's the boxing with you and Petros and Cletus Solden in the main event. You got Super Cat headlining a concert after you guys are done, and then the next day, Big Daddy Kane and KRS-One are engaging in a Triller Verzuz battle. Now, before we kind of get into the boxing, I do want to ask if Triller sort of came to you and said, okay, we need, for the future, we need someone to headline a concert and we need, someone for a Triller Verzuz battle. Who would those guys be? If someone came to you and asked for your feedback, your suggestions.
If I could just pick anybody,
Yeah, anybody.
anybody, wow. I would like to see. Let's see. Someone like Jay Z and Nas. They always had beef in the past, and they're cool now. But it would be like maybe two of the greatest hip hop guys ever together in one.
You know what? I've tuned into that, and like I'm not much
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
music guy, not much of a hip hop head, but I will admit I'm definitely in. I would be paying good money for that. Um,
yeah, yeah,
the boxing portion of this card, it to me, it kind of has felt like it's gone through an endless roller coaster. Obviously, with at the center to follow the Teofimo Lopez and George Cambo's situation, that fight no longer
yeah,
happening
yeah.
next week. But has you as a fighter, has it kind of sort of been weighing on your mind a little bit, sort of wondering if that, however that fight's gonna turn out to be, whether it's happening or not, if that's going to be affecting the viability of your fight and the other fights on the undercard going through? Has that sort of been weighing on your mind?
It definitely in the beginning when we thought what it was, and we thought that was going to be the main event. It was definitely going to be exciting to be under such a, I guess you call it, such a face of boxing. Both of them are much bigger than I am, but it would have been a lot more eyes maybe on it. But then I looked at it in a different way. Like I looked at it like all the attention will be on me now, or me in the main event, Cletus. So we end up getting more of the attraction. We get more of the eyes on us and more of the attention on us. So in the long run, I feel like it kind of worked out for me.
And you're no stranger to fighting on big events and on the big stages. I remember you got fights from like 6 years ago that were airing on ESPN on the old Friday Night Fight series,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
quite a long time ago. But fighting here on Triller on this event, does it feel perhaps a little bit different? As you mentioned, that it is maybe a somewhat different audience tuning in, not entirely a traditional boxing audience watching it.
Yeah, I'm awesome. I'm excited and feel awesome about it because, first of all, I never fought in the Barclays, so new experience. The Barclays actually the biggest venue I've been to. I've been in Madison Square Garden, and but I was in the small one,
The
the
Hulu
small
Theater.
room. Yeah. So Barclays is probably the biggest event ever for me, and it's good for me as a boxing fighter that I'm gonna get different eyes. I get the much younger generation, which they're gonna be watching it more likely, and even the older generation because they're into the old school hip hop and all that. So I'm gonna get both eyes on me. So I think it's a new fan base to build. So it's all beneficial to me, and I'm excited about it.
So for those people who may not have seen you box before, I mean, you're a skillful boxer. You've been in the ring with quite a number of names throughout your career. You've been on TV for quite some time, for a number of years. But for those who are tuning in for that first time, what can they sort of expect to see from you go up against a very tough fighter in Petros Ananyan?
Yeah, I'm very action style, so you're gonna see me throw a lot of punches. I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm also gonna, box and be smart and be flashy with my field work. So I'm basically bringing action, and I'm gonna bring entertainment to the fans because when I fight, 100% to the max. I'm not trying to stay on the back foot and win on points. I'm trying to just destroy my opponent, and I'm pretty sure my opponent's trying to do the same thing. He seems like he's an aggressive fighter that comes forward as well. So I think our styles are going to work perfectly and put on an amazing show.
You mentioned obviously your action and Petros Ananyan, absolutely, action. Both of you guys are very, very tough fighters. And when you look at this fight, then obviously Petros is a guy who likes to be aggressive and likes to be very, very forward in his movement. Do you sort of look at this fight and think that this could be one of those, all action, bang, bang, no, much less technical and much more of a brawl? Or could you sort of see that it might end up being more of a chess match?
Fighting, you never know what's going to happen, so it can go in so many different ways. But I'm ready for, I hit him with a nice counter shot and it's over, or we go 10 rounds and we produce another a Toro Ward. So I'm ready for anything. And all I know is my mentality is that this is everything to me. So this fight right now is going to determine my future, determine what happens to me in the sport. So to me, everything. So I'm going to put it all on the line, and there is no way he's going to come at me and be able to outwill me. So I'm coming 100, and I become in action, but it can go any way. You never know with boxing.
Now, you mentioned the future, and obviously, Petros is coming off of a terrific win last year against Subriel Matias, and Subriel's on the cusp of potentially fighting for a title 140. Do you sort of see something similar where, you get a win against Petros, a guy who has a tremendous, very good resume, and look at and see yourself and maybe catapulted closer into that list of contenders in a division that maybe a year from now could very well be open, depending, if Josh Taylor decides to vacate his titles, move up to welterweight. I mean, if that's the case, the entire division is completely open and for the taking.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, the 140 division was wide open. All four belts were scattered all over basically the world, and people were just grabbing belts here and there. So it seems like it's not too far away from that. I think Josh Taylor will decide to do something, and I think the belts are going to get spread apart again, and then we got to go and get all those belts back. So, I'm looking at this win to put me in maybe the top 10 and maybe fight one of the top 10 guys, and then boom, a title shot. If it's open, I feel like in a couple months, maybe maybe a year, the belts will be wide open. Josh Taylor would make a decision in what he's doing. I don't think the division is going to be held up by him. Mm-hmm. And I just think an opportunity is going to come out of this big time. And regardless, a win is going to put me in bigger fights. And that's all I want, bigger fights,
Now, if I had to ask you, what are maybe one or three names that you have in mind if you do get a win against Petros Ananyan? Who do you like to face, in that 140-pound division? Someone maybe in the top 10 and sort of, as you mentioned, get closer to that title shot that you want.
Yeah, you look at any of the top guys right now, I'm looking at people like Arnold Barboza. He's up there. He's almost close for a title shot. And, even if, we got the same promotional company, maybe that could happen. Maybe me and Cletus, there's all types of fights that are open. Brandon Lee's out there. He's fighting on Showtime. That'll be a big fight. So any in the top, I don't know too many other names, but any of those guys, they've been in my radar. I've been looking for something really big to put me to the next level, and really get me a title shot, because that's the goal. That's the dream. I'm here to become world champion. That's the only goal. So we're trying to chase at that. and a win next Saturday, and then bigger fights, hopefully.
You know, one thing that I love about your story is you how you got into your boxing. I believe it was your mom got you to the gym to sort of work on your weight and your self-esteem. And to be honest, I know that story all too well, because it's a story that I'm kind of relating to right now, and I'm sure a lot of people are relating as far as wanting to work on their weight and on their self-esteem. That was then, and now you've made a terrific career right now in boxing. What is your sort of current motivation to sort of keep on fighting? You certainly are now close to maybe even getting to the goal of fighting for a world title.
Yeah, in the beginning, losing the weight and all that, like people don't realize, like when you're young, you don't really got much of a motivation or a goal or things to go after. You kind of get into a funk, and then you let yourself go, and it's not healthy for you. A lot of people are dying from obesity. It's a big issue. A lot of people don't know this, but my brother, he was 450 pounds,
Oh
and
wow.
we got him down to 150 pounds in 2 years. So this is like a family savior. Boxing saved the family. So it's bigger than I owe boxing more than anything. It saved my life. I'm pretty sure it saved my brother's life, and it got us on the right track. My motivation now is more my family and my future and my legacy. I want to give back to my mom. She gave me so much. I want to give back to my team, Moses, my trainer, and all those people that believed in me. My managers, they put time and effort into me. All these people that put so much, effort into me. I've been doing this for 15 years. So I just make them, I want to give back to them. I want to state my legacy as a world champion. If I'm a world champion, I will always be in the history books, and that's my goal.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Being I love that. I first of all, kudos to your brother if he's making the 450. What you said, 150 in two
Yeah, yeah,
years.
and he fought amateur, had about 25, 30 fights, and won most of them.
That's wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
tremendous. I do have to say, I can't say I've heard of a weight loss transformation that
yeah. It
incredible.
it definitely should be all over social media. They should do a documentary on it. My mom came to me and begged me to save his life. And we started with one day in the gym, and one day became every day, and every day became twice a day, and then the transformation began.
So one thing that want to ask, I mean, you and Chris Algieri once shared the ring together a couple of years ago. You're fighting on Triller. Chris just came back and fought Mick
Yeah,
Pierre
yeah.
on Triller. It looked outstanding. It looked like Yasin aged a bit. If you saw that fight, what did you think of his performance?
So I'm gonna start stirring the pot right now. So basically, I supposed to have fought Chris and Jerry that day. We had the fight almost set 100%, and then I guess he dreamed about me and decided to not do it, and then he decided to pick somebody else. So we wanted that fight. I felt like the second time around, I would have destroyed him, and the way he looked, to me, he looked terrible. So I definitely want that fight in the future. I don't think it's gonna happen because he kind of holds the power and decisions like that, because he can decide who he fights. He's a little more, I guess, a veteran, or more of a, he has more power on his side. So I don't think that's gonna happen, but I definitely think you know I would have easily defeated him. And if it ever happens later on Thriller, because now it looks like we're both on Thriller, it would be an amazing night.
So what has changed in your boxing style from that fight to now, where you do feel confident that you would beat him easily in a rematch? What sort of have you sort of taken from that loss and worked upon?
Yeah, so it just sounds like it was just 2 years ago, and it doesn't sound like it. Well, about years ago, so it doesn't sound like much difference. But the reality of the situation was, I had no experience.
Mhm.
I didn't know big show like Madison Square Garden, have your face all over the billboards, and the all the media, all the interviews. all the pressure, all the audience, that people telling you you're gonna lose, you're gonna do this. So I'll be honest, I was kind of I wasn't well prepared for that side of the boxing game, and basically there was a lot of other things personally that was going on, with my training and things that just didn't work out. A lot of things happened last minute, kind of messed me up a little bit, but since that fight, I learned so much, and my experience level got so high. And I had at least 4 fights since then. All victories. I knocked people down. I hurt people. So I just believe in myself a lot more, and I believe that my consistency in the game. I'm gym every day. I'm training all year round. COVID happened. I had a basement gym. My coach just came to me. We've been working hard for literally 2-3 years straight. No rest, no breaks, nothing. Just getting better, getting stronger. A new physical strength and conditioning coach, new nutritionist, new everything. So I changed my whole game up. I changed everything, fixed all the things that were wrong, put all the things that were right, changed that. Just the experience itself just took me to a new level. It gives you, when you fight in big fights like that, it gives you like a special superpower, and that's remaining calm in the chaos. So I became used to remaining calm in the chaos, used to the whole big production and all that stuff. So I just feel like so many people used to tell me when I was younger, get the experience. The experience makes a difference. He has a lot of experience. Be careful. And I always thought of that as a joke. But in reality, experience is maybe the biggest currency in boxing. It definitely gets you prepared for the bigger events, to figure out what's wrong, what's right, what you got to fix. And I feel like I just made so much adjustments, so much stronger, so much faster, more more intelligent, uh, more calm, and all those things really benefit at the top level of boxing.
So now taking everything that you have learned from back then into now, and obviously you got this fight with Petros Ananyan. I know you obviously believe that you're going to come out with the win. How do you see that fight going? How do you believe that this will go to the cards? You predict that this will end up in a knockout? How do you see this going?
So if you look at it on paper, he's definitely a tough guy. He has a very good chin. So I see it more of a battle of will, a battle of endurance, and I feel like I'm just gonna beat him in that game. I feel like I'm gonna take him to the deep waters, and I think I'm gonna break him mentally. So that's a big picture of how I look at it. I'm ready for the 10-round war, but I would not be surprised if I touch him with something and he gets a knockdown or a few knockdowns or even a stoppage. He kind of has flaws in his defense, so I'm gonna look forward to take advantage of that. And wherever it goes, distance, quick, fast, whatever, I'm ready for anything. Mentally, I'm ready for the war. I'm ready to go Andre Ward. I mean, Gotti Ward if it needs to happen. But if it's quick, it's quick. So I learned that this pool, you kind of just fight, and then you just make adjustments in there, and then that kind of like win round by round, and just make the adjustments as necessary. Don't go in there thinking anything. Just be ready for whatever, and then make the adjustments in the fight.
So that's now 2 times in this interview that you've mentioned Gotti Ward. Is that your all-time favorite fight?
Yeah, definitely. I actually watched it not that long ago, so that's why it's fresh in my mind and thinking about it. But fights like that, it doesn't even matter who you guys are. You guys are not even world champions, and people never forget those guys. Those guys are forever in history books, and will be always mentioned probably for the rest of the rest of life. So no matter what, you always want to be in a fight like that because you know what it could do, because it could bring a crazy audience, and just amazing fight will bring you more fans and bring you more attention. But I'm ready for whatever. But I know that I can go there, and I know some other guys in this game can go there. So mentally, I'm prepared to go anywhere I need to go in this fight. and that's why I keep bringing it up.
Danny, thanks so much for taking time to talk to me. You can see Daniel Gonzalez against Petros Ananyan on October 16. Triller Fight Club on Fight TV. You can see the entire Triller Verzuz 2-day weekend event that's going to be on TrillerFightClub.com and fight for the Triller Verzuz subscription package, $2.99 a month with a minimum of one Triller Verzuz event each month. Danny, thanks so much for taking time to talk to me. Best of luck in your career and best of luck on next week on October 16th.
Thank you so much. And I just want to say I'm a big fan of Super Cat, so don't forget Super Cat's on the card too.
Yeah, no, Super Cat on the 16th and Big Daddy Kane versus KRS-One on the 17th.